What if I told you there's a credit loophole that's so powerful it can erase debt legally almost overnight? Not a scam, not some shady trick. It's a real lawful strategy that collection agencies and creditors desperately hope you never find out about. Now, most people never hear about it, and that's exactly how the system likes it. But once you understand how this loophole works, you'll realize you've had more power than you thought all along. And in today's video, I'm going to pull back the curtain and reveal the loophole, explain how it works, and show how people just like you are using it to wipe out thousands of dollars in debt the right way. So stick around because by the end, you'll know why this loophole exists, how to use it, and how to protect yourself from the tricks that creditors use to keep you in the dark. So, debt feels permanent, right? Well, once you owe it, you think you're chained to it until it's paid in full, or it haunts your credit report forever. That's the story that we've all been told, but here's the truth. The credit system has rules and timelines, and when collectors fail to follow them, well, you have every right to get that debt erased. Now, this loophole isn't about skipping out on responsibilities, it's about holding creditors accountable to the same laws they expect you to follow. And once you understand these rules, you'll see why so many debts fall apart under scrutiny. So the loophole starts with two simple words: debt validation. Now, under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the FDCPA, any time that a collector comes after you, you've got the right to demand written proof that the debt is actually yours. The agency has the legal right to collect it. The amount is correct, and here's where it gets explosive. The majority of debts sold to collectors lack proper documentation. Now, these accounts are often bundled in huge portfolios and sold for pennies on the dollar with almost no original paperwork attached whatsoever. So, when you demand validation in writing, many collectors simply can't provide it. And if they can't, well, here's the great news: they must legally stop collection and remove it from your credit report. And don't forget the 7-year rule. If a debt is older than 7 years from the date of the first delinquency, it can't legally remain on your credit report. Even if the debt technically still exists, it vanishes from your history. Yet collectors often chase these zombie debts because most consumers don't realize that they've expired. Here's an example. So, a man in Texas, a client of mine, had a $4,800 credit card debt from 2014. Now, it should have fallen off by 2021, but the collector kept reporting it as new. He sent one dispute letter showing the original delinquency date, and within 30 days, it was erased. And his score shot up 72 huge points. So, my credit warriors, just before we take an even deeper dive, it's imperative you hit that like button and subscribe so that you get notified the minute we produce another game-changing video that helps your credit situation. And I promise it will help and you will appreciate it. So buckle up and let's plunge deeper still. So why don't they want you to know this? Well, it destroys their business model. See, debt buyers purchase accounts for pennies on the dollar. If they can scare even 1 out of 10 people into paying in full, they've just made massive profits. But if consumers demand validation, many of those debts will evaporate. Even worse for them, if they break the law, like, for instance, re-aging a debt, continuing to report after failing to validate, or threatening lawsuits that they can't file, well, the great news is you can actually sue them for damages. And in many cases, people have walked away not only free of the debt, but with a settlement check from the collectors. So here's the safest way to use it. Number one, pull all 3 credit reports and identify every collection account. Next, Send a debt validation letter within 30 days of contact. Be firm, be clear, and keep records. If they can't validate, dispute it with the bureaus and demand its approval. Now, if the debt is past 7 years, cite the date of the first delinquency and request deletion. Never verbally admit to the debt. Collectors love to twist your words into acknowledgement. Keep everything in writing, and for debts you do choose to settle, always negotiate in writing and push for a paid for delete. Without it, you could still pay and still see no score improvement. Now, understand, this loophole doesn't erase every single debt, but it does expose how fragile the collection industry really is. They rely on people not knowing their rights. They rely on fear. But once you use validation and the 7-year rule, you stop playing their game. So let's recap. The credit loophole that can erase debt overnight rests on two key laws: validation under the FDCPA and the 7-year reporting limit under the FCRA. Now, collectors hate this because once you know the rules, well, their power absolutely collapses. This isn't a gimmick, it's the law. And when you know the law, you protect your credit, your money, and your peace of mind. So, as always, thanks for watching, my friends. Stay smart, stay strong, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.